sections without having to scroll through the whole thing.
So much better.
Yes.
You would think that IT guy.
Good evening and welcome to the October meeting of the Smyrna Board of Zoning Appeals. I would like to call the meeting to order. First item on our agenda will be prayer and pledge. Prayer will be led by Phil and the pledge by Scott. So please join us in prayer.
Please. Heavenly Father, we lift up the town of Smyrna and the citizens to you today. And we just thank you for our town, Father. We thank you for the safety of the town and the employees. And Father, we just pray that during these proceedings, Father, that you are present. We make the best decisions possible for the town. And we are just thankful for your providence over our town. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, fellas. Third item on the agenda, citizen comments. Mitch, do you have any?
Not at this time.
Not at this time. Number 4 will be approval or correction of the minutes from the September 19th meeting. Those are in your packet. I've reviewed them. They appear to be in order. Do you guys see any adjustments or corrections?
No, I move to approve the minutes.
I'll make a second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Number 5 on our agenda tonight is new business. It looks like we have 2. We have a sign setback variance and a special exception. We'll start with the sign setback variance. Mitch?
This first request for a sign setback variance of 6 feet 4 inches at Ed's Bait Shop, which is located at 8200 Florence. The sign ordinance specifies that a pole sign must be set back a minimum of 10 feet from the edge of the right-of-way. In this instance, it's set back approximately 3 foot 8 inch from the right-of-way. The gas pricer sign is located between the fuel canopy and the roadway behind the sidewalk, which is in between, and has a grassy berm strip that is located on near the roadway. Applicant has listed the following hardships as a reason for requesting the request. Site has utility lines which are located on the southern end of the parcel, which would prohibit installation of the pole sign on top of the utility location. And the northern end of the parcel has a drainage retention area in which the pole sign cannot be located in either. Chapter 9, Section F2 of the sign ordinance lists criteria that must be considered by the board when evaluating a variance request. For an action granting a variance, the board shall state the provisions being varied and shall grant the minimum variance to satisfy the relief of a hardship and shall state the specific hardship which justifies the variance. The board shall not grant a variance unless it makes findings based upon the evidence presented as it follows. The particular physical surrounding shape, topographic conditions of the specific property involved would result in an exceptional hardship upon the owner as distinguished from mere inconvenience. There's a retention pond, as I stated, in the northern end of the parcel, and then a large portion of the parcel is also located within the 500-year floodway, as well as the northwestern portion, which is located within the 100-year floodway as well. Lot is relatively rectangular in size, except for the front of the parcel, which is curved along Florence Road. The conditions upon which a petition for a variance is based would not be applicable to other similarly situated properties. As stated, the sign ordinance requires setback of 10 feet from the edge of the right-of-way. Due to the curvature of Florence Road at this parcel location, the right-of-way is convex in shape, which pushes further into the development than on either end of the property boundary points on the north and south end. Hardship has not been created by any person having an interest in the property. The applicant in this instance is the developer of the gas station and convenience store location. Financial returns should not be considered as a basis for granting a variance. Property owner has not identified financial returns as a reason for requesting the variance, though marketing this development is one of the reasons stated for needing a pole pricer sign. The variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare, injurious to other property, or the intent and spirit of the ordinance. This variance would not have any of the above effects, and the variance does not confer a special privilege to the applicant that is denied to others. Staff finds that approval of the variance may confer special privilege on the applicant since the challenges stated under A and B are somewhat unique in this instance. Staff recognizes that in this instance there are particular hardships placed upon the applicant, such as the utility line location and the retention pond being located on the site near the front of the property. However, the applicant is also the developer of this parcel and could have reorganized the site to better suit a gas price pole sign near the property, meeting the 10-foot setback of the ordinance. Couple pictures of the property. This is just a close-up of the sign. And then looking from the south end of the parcel, basically somewhere near where the utility lines are located at, just looking towards it. The right-of-way line curves basically somewhere along right here where the edge of the sidewalk is. Just a closer up look if you're sitting at that stop sign waiting to pull out of the development looking towards the sign. And this is on the opposite end, on the northern end, looking back where the Pricer sign is located at, down the opposite side of Florence Road. And this, as I described, is the site plan for this development. On the southern end, just shows where your utilities are at and the retention pond location. And the sign is located about in this general vicinity. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Rich. At this time, I would like to close the Board of Zoning Appeals and open a public hearing for anyone who would like to speak for or against this request. If there's anyone who would like to, please come to the microphone, state your name and your address, please.
Mike Perry, 2264 Westwood Drive, Murfreesboro. I'm the general contractor on this project. The sign permit was taken out, and then I had the sign, was not in my contract, but here I am. And they said, I asked the owners where the sign should go, and we wanted to put it the only place we thought it could go. And there's two storm drain pipes right in between, right on either side of the pole sign. The utilities are all underground on this side of the, well, you see the utility
South
location.
side, yeah.
The retention pond's on the other side, and the core goes on beyond that. We're actually 10'6" off the curb of the drive, the road. If there was another place to put it, I would have. Me not taking out the gas people took out the permit, so I didn't really know that that it stated where it to go or not be within 10 feet of the right-of-way dedication.
Okay, where are the tanks on this particular piece of property? Where are the underground tanks?
They're up there.
They're on,
Just below where it says retention pond?
they're on the north side.
They're right here. Here are all the tank farms right here.
Okay. All right, any questions for Mr. Perry? Comments, questions, anything?
Not for him.
All right. All right, thanks, sir.
Okay.
Anyone else that would like to speak for or against this request? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and resume the Board of Zoning Appeals for discussion with the board. Of course, we get our packets a week or so in advance and saw this on there, so uniquely, we don't always have a sign in place to consider a variance. Usually it's before the sign's built. So in this case, it provided a good opportunity to go by and actually look at it and see it on our own. So hopefully you are all able to do that. Again, it's unique that we already have a sign in place. So it looks like based on staff recommendations, there is a potential hardship based on the curvature of the road and the other hardships that the applicant issued, although at least some of them may have been created. The curvature of the road definitely wasn't, but the rest of it could have been created by the developer. So that's kind of the facts as we know them. What are you guys thinking?
I mean, with the retention pond and the electrical, what are the restraints there? I mean, the overhead, the lines come down and go underneath, I would assume, the front of the property. So as far as,
Yeah, I would suspect the footer. I mean, I think this, based on what it looked like to me, this pole's probably at least a 12-inch square pole. It might be 18 inches, so it's a pretty good sized pole. So I would assume the footer to support that pole and the weight of that pole pretty deep.
Which is underground.
So you really
deep
couldn't
underground.
put that right where the utilities are.
Yeah, and that retention pond, I mean, if you went out there and saw it, I mean, it starts immediately, so off that drive, so there really isn't a way to put it over there.
Right.
Now, as far as the other side, I did see where the utility lines were coming down.
Right.
But they were, again, how far away you are from that, that whole area there, nothing is actually really doable to meet that right away. The only thing I would have liked to have seen personally, it's just my own thoughts, are some stations in this instance have actually put a sign up on the canopy itself. I've seen that at Murfreesboro and a few other places where it was so close to the road you could not put a pole sign. So, I mean, it would have been nice to have that discussion before one's in. The sign that's there is aesthetically pleasing. I drove the area and drove by. So that's not the issue. It's that it is against the sign ordinance. That's the way I'm seeing it at the moment. So the question is, do we want to say it needs to be taken down? And the only other option I see, if there isn't a place to put a pole down, because I saw and I understand that the canopies are there. You don't want to stick a pole right there. We're driving in, but at this point, could some type of sign be just put on the edge of that canopy? I know that exists because I've seen several stations that have it, and is that something we want to do at this point? I don't think there's a safety issue, is there? I know there's the right-of-way thing, but no one actually pinpoint anything specific. Is that right? This is a sign ordinance on the 10 feet, but no one knows. There's no safety traffic thing like that I've heard. Okay.
Not in the past. Not like
I
in
mean,
the
that
past.
makes it a little bit different because there's not like, there's not a danger that I see to it being there. It's tough to approve because we didn't get the opportunity to approve this before it went in, to have that discussion, and you hate for someone to take it down, but it doesn't meet the 10 feet. And
Right.
it could, something could be done on the canopy. The pole sign probably doesn't have a place to go, but you could do that. So, I mean, the option exists.
Right.
Mitch,
And in early planning, everything could have moved back 3 feet, or something could have moved back 3 feet to allow us room for that.
I don't know if you can see on your drawing here, but the line where the pole is, there's a measurement line from the edge of what looks like Florence Road to the canopy. Is that the right of way, or is that the edge of the road it's coming
That's
from?
the setback line.
Okay, because
You're talking about this line right here.
Yeah, I'm
correct?
adding those two. No, yeah, the one right in the middle there that goes out to the road.
The horizontal.
Yeah, that goes
The 30.
from right there where you're at.
This one?
Yes.
That's your right of way.
So that's saying 30 feet from the edge of the road or 30 feet from the right of way?
That's the center.
30 feet from the center.
That's the center of the road over
That's the
30
center,
feet.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And that goes approximately, I don't know if you can tell,
And it looks
but
like
that's
it's 38
sidewalk.
feet. Yeah, so total, it looks like it's 68 feet from the center of the road to the edge of that awning based on those two numbers. I see 38 and 30.
It's 35.
Okay, maybe it's
Yeah.
5. Okay, 65
Yeah, it's
feet.
blurry.
Yeah.
Because based on where Phil was going, is there ordinance that would allow putting a sign on the canopy? I know that at one point my dad had a sign on a building here and he had to take it down because we weren't allowed to put a sign on the building for some reason.
Yeah, you can put a
Yeah.
sign, there's size limitations and all that, but certainly you could put signage on the canopy, yes. You know,
That would put it,
You could
well,
put it, probably may not have as big of an area as what they have on that sign.
gotcha.
Right, because it would have to go along the canopy long ways. It wouldn't be
Yeah,
something.
it would
this way.
change things quite a bit. I'm just thinking if that's an option.
Go back to the sign picture. Can you do that? I just,
It would be pretty far off.
We still open discussion. Can I say something?
No, hang on a second. Let me reclose the Board of Zoning Appeals and we'll reopen the public hearing. Mr. Perry, you wanted to
I'm
speak?
sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Just come back to the microphone.
Thank you. It would be hard to see, like the price point or anything on the canopy. On up the road here, all the pole signs, all the power poles, they encroach that setback as well, all the way down through the road. They encroach the right-of-way dedication, but
Okay.
it'd be hard to see and to get the price, and they also got like a letter board, like they sell biscuits and things like that. But that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you. All right.
yeah, I would say coming in from the from the south, you could see numbers on the side of the canopy. Coming from the north side, obviously not, because there's the,
May reopen.
wooded area.
Yeah, sorry.
go fast.
Close the public hearing and reopen the Board of Zoning Appeals for further discussion. Now, go ahead, Jay.
Coming from the south side, you could see numbers on the side of a canopy, possibly on the front corner. Coming from the north would be opposite because of
By
the
the way,
trees.
if I had a
moving
gavel, I would have banged down the word.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, I understand your point. Do you know anything about the telephone poles he's talking about? No? I didn't notice them, but,
Those would be, they're supposed to be in the right of way.
yeah.
This is just for signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just was thinking if it was, in line with those, I can see how there might be some confusion.
I think that his point might have been that safety issues
Yeah,
was probably.
right. They're just as close as this
Yeah.
is, right? Okay.
But as it was said, safety concern wasn't noted in this, so that's
Yeah.
really not an issue. This is really just about right-of-way, and it's supposed to be 10 feet, and it's not. And if we believe a hardship exists enough to be able to let it be there.
Yeah, so-
And honestly, since a canopy sign can be done, that makes this harder. It would be different, because I understand the pole sign, it would, trying to put it somewhere there and the canopy spilled, that's a problem now.
Yeah, and the problem is I've went all over Smyrna trying to find somebody that doesn't have one, and I still haven't found one yet that's less than 10. So they would be the first.
Really? Okay.
All right. Well, do I have a motion? I don't have an opinion at this point. I'm waiting on you guys. I think there is potentially the coverage of the road that could be cited as but you gotta decide, is it a big enough hardship to warrant the position of the sign? I think that's really the only one. I think everything else is a condition created by the applicant.
And then that road was curved when they developed the
Yeah,
property.
the road was definitely not created by the applicant.
That is my concern with this, is that all these conditions were there previous, and we didn't have a chance to try to do something different.
The utilities was known, the drainage retention pond was known, and the
Yep.
coverage for the road was known.
Because they had already redone Florence Road before they redid it.
It was, yeah, it
Okay.
was being finished up about the time they started construction, but the shape and everything was already there. We gotta make a motion, fellas. Gotta do something.
I make a motion that we deny it because we can't find a hardship that wasn't already created by the developer. I mean,
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
It's kind of where my head was at, so I'd second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All of those in favor of denial of this request, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is denied. I'm sorry, the motion is approved, the request is denied. Yeah, I said that right. All right, thank you. Next item on our agenda is a special exception for, is it Ginsana or Ginsana? All right, on Weekly Lane, so Mitch?
This is a request for a special exception to allow a consumer repair service use in a light industrial district. This property is located at 131 Weekly Lane, Suite 120. Property zone I-1 is approximately 2.42 acres in size. Ginsana LLC is a company that services and repairs medical equipment. 2 employees are present at this site. One of the employees transports medical equipment needing repair and service, and the other employee repairs the needed equipment. Section 7.060B of the zoning ordinance detail requirements for authorizing special exceptions, and they are detailed as follows. Conditional use permit shall be provided that the board finds that it is so designed, located, and proposed to operate so that the public health, safety, and welfare will be protected. Staff finds that all of the proposed use of the consumer repair service will not negatively affect any of the above listed. Will not adversely affect other property in the area. The staff finds that this proposed use should not adversely affect other property. Is within the provisions of special exceptions as set forth in the ordinance. Section 5.053.1C lists consumer repair services as a special exception in the I-1 district. conforms to all applicable provisions of the ordinance for the district in which it is to be located, as well as provisions cited in section 7.060 and 7.061, and if necessary for public convenience in the location planned. Staff finds that this site may be able to conform to all applicable provisions of the zoning ordinance. Prior to the issuance of a special exception, the board shall make written findings certifying compliance with the specific rules governing individual special exceptions, and that satisfactory provisions and arrangement have been made concerning all of the following where applicable. Ingress and egress to the property. Access to the site will utilize the existing ingress and egress off of Weekly Lane. Off-street parking where required. Staff finds that the lot provides sufficient space for parking. Refuse and service areas with particularly referenced items 1 and 2. Refuse collection will proceed in the same manner as currently. Utilities with reference to locations, availability, and compatibility. The site has all the applicable utilities on site. Signs, if any, proposed exterior lighting with reference to glare, traffic, safety, economic effect, and compatibility and harmony with properties in the district. Staff finds proposed consumer repair service will fit the compatibility with properties in the same district in reference to the above effects. Required yard and open space. Staff finds there's adequate space on this lot to support this business in addition to other uses present at this site. General compatibility with adjacent property and other property in the district. Staff finds this use may be compatible with adjacent properties as there are other commercial uses present at this site as well. And based on that, staff would recommend approval of this request. Picture from the site today. This is a general location of where that suite is located within this business park. And then just another picture of the front of the business park. That's all.
Okay, thanks, sir. At this time, I'll close the Board of Zoning Appeals and open a public hearing for anyone who would like to speak for or against the request.
I don't know. I don't know what
If
to
you
say.
come to the microphone, just say
Well,
your name and your
we
name and
weren't aware of
address.
that there was a problem, so once we found out about it, I was like,
I'm
oh
sorry,
my goodness.
can you state your name and
Oh,
address?
I'm sorry,
for our
Katerina
record?
Aurelia Thomas. I'm at Petrie Corners, Georgia.
Okay.
So, yeah, once we opened it, we were not aware until we tried to pay for the Town of Smyrna business license.
Gotcha.
And then we found out and was like, okay, so made my calls, drove up here last night and to be present here to be.
Okay, I've just got one or two questions.
Sure.
This particular business park, we've had issues in the past with some of the other tenants kind of overrunning their parking spots.
Yes.
So I just would like to know, it sounds like, based on what I'm reading, that you have two employees, one who works basically in the
Right.
office repairing equipment, and one who delivers or goes and
Right,
picks up the
right.
equipment.
We
So
were- yeah.
shouldn't be more than one or two vehicles usually?
Two vehicles at the most.
So
Typically
customers don't drop their equipment off
No,
here?
absolutely not.
Okay.
No, it's just us. And then we are one of the people that complained about people parking in our spots.
Right.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
And all the repairs would be done indoors?
absolutely. Nothing
Okay.
goes outdoors, yeah.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
Nope.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
This time we'll close the public hearing and reopen the Board of Zoning Appeals, seeing no one else in the audience for discussion. Obviously, y'all heard my two concerns, maybe before any of you were on this council, I think you were here. We've had a couple of issues with parking at this facility, but we've addressed those, and I think hopefully the companies are staying in compliance. In this case, they're obviously not adding more traffic because they're already there.
Right, and it's not a retail establishment,
it's
so no
pretty
one's
small.
coming in and out, so.
With all the repairs happening inside the building, I think with the other uses in this facility, I think it's a good fit. It fits fine. So,
Well, I move to approve the request for the special exception.
all right, we have a motion
A second.
and a second. All those in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item is staff comments and/or other.
I have none.
We have no staff comments, and if that's the case, we'll make a motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
And
I'll second it.
we are adjourned. Thank you.
So, by the way, just.